You'll never guess my super secret password.
Now, what is your password?
Password, the word spelled out.
We're trying everything. It's like the entire password file has been wiped out.
Hey there, my friend. Welcome back to Mr. Fred's Tech Talks. First of all, I just want to say, if you've been listening since the summertime, thank you very much. We're now, heading into I believe our 12th episode here. And if you're new, welcome. I want to be able to help you with understanding technology. I want to take the mystery out of technology so you could stay safe, smart, and confident online. I had originally recorded this episode in the month of October, which is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. But sometimes life happens, and the past few weeks, I've been moving the Get Me Coding studio to a new location. And well, cybersecurity is still important, even if it is in October. So here we are in November, looking back at October, which was Cybersecurity Awareness Month. But again, it's always good to be talking about these topics. I've been a advocate for cybersecurity awareness now for several years, and I like to be able to provide you with some quick tips and some reminders so you can be safe online. All right, who am I? I'm your host, Mr. Fred, and today we're going to tackle something that every one of us uses daily. Passwords. Yeah, passwords. We've all been there. What was that login again? We'd always ask ourselves, or did I use my dog's name or my favorite team? But times are definitely changing fast. Today, we're looking at how we've evolved from simple passwords to smarter passphrases, and now to passkeys, which are considered the newest and most secure way to log in. And don't miss the end of this episode, because I'm going to answer the big question. Can hackers crack passkeys? So let's dive in.
Talking about gadgets, games, and gears. AI buzzing in your ears. Parents, teachers, kids unite. We're learning tech and doing it right. Oh, it's a tap, swipe, scroll kind of show where zeros and ones are ready to go. From old school DOS to robots that talk, we're jamming with Mr. Fred's Tech Talks.
All right, I'm going to quick quiz you all. Being a professor, I love giving quizzes to the classroom. Even if there's 2 questions, 5 questions, 10, whatever. What's the most common password in the world? Yep, it still is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending upon how many characters you put in. And the second place? Yep, you guessed it, password. One of the things I find interesting with passwords in general is this particular story. My background has me touching on a lot of different topics regarding technology, and one of them would be doing a security assessment or a security inspection. I would go into an office space and we would take a look at the current setup for a user that maybe has to log into the work accounts or the network or whatnot. The first place I would look, I would go right over to the keyboard, flip the keyboard over, and guess what I would find? Yeah, the password taped underneath the keyboard. But it even gets better. Now, I'm going to talk about something here that maybe not everybody's familiar with. I'm going to talk about what a Rolodex is. So for all you young people listening out there, when you go to a business meeting or you meet other people who own businesses, yeah, we still typically exchange what are known as business cards. But sometimes we get so many of them, we have to keep them organized. Instead of just stuffing them in a drawer, what we would do is we would use this thing called a Rolodex. Picture a spinning wheel, and it was organized alphabetically, A through Z. And what you would do is you would take your business card, and you could either insert it into the Rolodex, or you would write information down on tabbed pieces of paper. And whenever you needed somebody, you would spin the wheel, and you would look up their information. Well, I would spin the wheel to the letter P, and guess what I would find underneath it? That's right. They're passwords. So those are 2 quick ways, right? Passwords have been around they're the keys to our digital lives. They've been around for decades, and they've also become one of the weakest links in cybersecurity. But let's take a look at how we could finally fix that. Let's talk a little bit about passwords. They're kind of considered the old guard. They were designed really to be secret codes that only you know. But there was a problem, right? We humans reuse them, we forget them, and we make them way too predictable. Hackers really don't guess anymore, though. They automate. And you don't even need to be a really, really sophisticated software programmer. You can download or purchase software that will allow you to crack people's passwords. These tools can test billions of password combinations in seconds. The faster their computer, well, even faster the cracking could be, especially if the password is short. If you're using the same password across sites, it's like using one key for your car, your house, and your office. And then you leave a copy of that key under every doormat in your neighborhood. So let me give you a little bit of a tip. If your password includes your birthday or your pet's name, it's time to give it a healthy retirement. Now, one thing you could also do is if you maybe even ask your friend or somebody in your family to try to guess your password, they could try to, you could find out if they can do that. But one easy way a hacker can start to a little bit, re-engineer you, it's also known as social engineering, is they can go out to your social media account, whether you're on TikTok, Facebook, X, wherever you post, and you like to post information about your interests, your sports teams, maybe your pets. They could take those bits and pieces and they'll weave that into the software that allows them to then maybe hack your account even quicker. So where can you go from here? That brings us up to the next one, passphrases. These were and are a smarter step forward. You enter the passphrase, right? So essentially it is a longer, more memorable version of a password. So in other words, instead of typing some really cryptic password like T2 $ her M capital M at N exclamation point, or as we say in programming, shebang. You could do that. Maybe you should try something like purple taco jumps over moon 2025 shebang exclamation point. That's pretty creative, right? That's a sentence your brain remembers, but a hacker's computer hates. The longer the phrase, the harder it is to break. It's like upgrading your front door lock to a bank vault. Bottom line is that the longer the string of characters, the longer the phrase, the stronger the security is, or the stronger it is, or harder it is to crack. Now, with these two things, I would also share this little reminder with you. In the United States, most of the United States, there's one small section that doesn't do this. We change our clocks every fall. We turn back, fall back, or spring forward. We turn them forward. And when we do that, we also are reminded to change our batteries in our smoke detectors. But I also like to remind my students and you, let's start weaving in changing our passwords too. Change your batteries, change your passwords. Now, once again, though, a lot of people don't like to change their passwords because then they can't remember them. So technology developers have come up with another step to help us out, and they're known as Passkeys. They've been around for a little while, but they could become the future of logging in. So let's talk about the real game. A passkey is a way to log in without ever typing a password. Instead, it uses a pair of what are known as digital keys. A public key that lives on the website or the app that you're going to use, and a private key that lives securely on your device, whether it's your smartphone, your tablet, or your PC. When you log in, the two keys perform a cryptographic handshake to confirm it's really you without sending any secrets across the internet. And that's really where the problem starts to arrive, is sending that information. So even if a hacker breaches a company's database and they try to look up the passwords, they can't steal your private key. It was never there. So when you log in to these new sites or the sites using passkeys, it's going to ask your device for confirmation, a fingerprint, a face scan, or a device pin. Once confirmed, you're in. There's no typing, no remembering, and nothing for phishing scams to steal. Now remember, that's the name of the game. Right now, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, one of the top 4 points that we're being asked to remind everybody again is awareness of phishing scams, whether they're coming in through text messages or emails. If you're not quite sure, go back to the last episode where I do touch on phishing. Now, this isn't phishing with an F. This is phishing with a PH. It actually comes from an old world, the telecom world, where people would try to hack the phone company to use payphones to make long distance calls. And they were known as phone freaks, and freaks being PHREAKS. Yeah, so we've now pulled the PH and we've swapped out the F in phishing, and now we call it phishing scams. Phishing scams is when a site tells you there's some kind of a problem, there's an emergency, click this link. And then when you go to click the link, they'll ask you for additional information. The site may look real. It could be a credit card looking site, a bank site. And now all of a sudden you're typing your password in. So that's phishing. And passkeys eliminate that. All right, so let's take a little bit of a deep dive here. Where passkeys live and what happens if your device is compromised. In other words, what if somebody steals your smartphone or your notebook? Now, we're going to go a little deeper because I know some of you are wondering, okay, Mr. Fred, if passkeys live on my device, how does it stay safe? And what happens if my laptop does get stolen? That's a great question. So let's talk about how they're stored. When you create a passkey, your device keeps it in a secure vault called a secure enclave or a TPM chip, depending upon what you use. Apple devices like the iPhone, iPad, the Mac, passkeys are stored in the iCloud keychain protected by what's called end-to-end encryption. That means your data is scrambled on your device before it's sent anywhere, and only your devices can unlock it. Not even Apple can read your passkeys. On Android and Google devices, those are stored in the Google Password Manager. They're also protected with end-to-end encryption. Your phone or tablet encrypts your keys before they ever touch the cloud. Well, what about your Windows-based PC? These are a little bit different. These are stored in a hardware chip called a TPM. It's short for Trusted Platform Module. Think of a TPM as a mini safe built right into your computer's motherboard. It holds sensitive keys that can't be copied or exported or read by regular software. That TPM will only unlock those keys after verifying your system's security, kind of like a bouncer checking IDs before letting anybody into a nightclub. Most modern Windows computers, especially anything made after 2018, already have a TPM chip built in. But if you're not sure, you could check under Windows Security, go to the device security settings, and then go further into security processor details. If you have an older PC without one, don't worry. Passkeys can still work through a software-based vault on your phone as the authenticator. I want to talk a little bit more, though, about this end-to-end encryption that I noted. You probably heard this term before, but here's what it really means. Imagine you lock a box with your own key. You hand it to a delivery driver and send it to a friend who has the matching key. The driver can't open it. The warehouse can't open it. Only you and your friend can. That's end-to-end encryption. It ensures that no one, not even the company providing the service, can peek at your data while it's being stored or transferred. That's how Apple, Google, and Microsoft keep your passkeys private. They literally can't see them. So now what if your device is lost or stolen? First of all, you want to revoke access immediately. On Apple, you can remove the device from the iCloud.com/find. Google managed devices under the security settings, and the Microsoft devices, once removed, you could take the passkeys on that device, instantly become useless. You could also restore securely, and that would mean basically your passkeys can be safely restored on your new device after signing in. It's like pulling your digital keys out of a locked safe that only you can open. Let's talk a little bit about hardware protection, though. Even if someone steals your device, they can't unlock your passkeys without your face, your fingerprint, or your PIN. Without that local verification, the TPM chip or the secure enclave simply refuses to open it. So there's a lot to unpack with all that. But between the hardware protection and encryption, your private keys aren't just stored. They're shielded by both math and metal. It's one of the biggest leaps forward we've seen in personal security in a very, very long time. All right, I have a little bit of a bonus question and answer segment for everybody here. A little bit of fact or fiction, if you want to play along. Are hackers cracking passkeys? That's the question that's popping up everywhere. So if you think of a hacker, are they trying to figure out a way, to get access to your passkeys, get around them? Right now, no. Not in the way that they've cracked passwords. Passkeys use strong public key cryptography, which means there's no password to steal, reuse, or trick you into typing. Even if a hacker builds a perfect fake login page, your passkey won't work there because the digital handshake won't match. So what are the hackers doing? They're shifting. They're shifting their attention to you, trying to trick or pressure you around the technology instead of through it. They'll send you like a fake account recovery message, or phone calls pretending to be support, or sneaky pop-ups asking you to approve a fake login. So the tech is strong, but habits still matter. Right now, hackers aren't cracking passkeys. They're trying to trick you around them. The technology's holding strong, and the human habits still need to work. Just a reminder. All right, let's head over to Mr. Fred's tech tip of the week. If you open up your device or browser and search for passkeys, you could see what's in place and what you can enable. On the iPhone, you'll go to your settings, go to your password section, and then you'll drill down to passkeys. If you're using an Android device, once again, go to your settings, go to the Google option, and then password manager. Ooh, sorry about that. On Chrome or Edge, you're going to go to your profile, go to passwords, and then select passkeys. Enable it for one account, like Google or PayPal, or maybe even eBay, and see how smooth the password-free login can be. Okay, when we go through a lot of information like this, sometimes it's really hard to maybe even visualize it. So I'm going to just, try to walk you through a table, and I'm going to make this available in the show notes, because there is a lot to take in here. We talked about 3 methods: passwords, passphrases, and passkeys. Passwords, you know them. They're words and symbols, uppercase, lowercase, and so on. We're very familiar with these. The problem is they're weak and we reuse them. So once somebody finds out our password for one site, then they know, or if they know we're going somewhere else, they could try that password again. Passphrases, remember now, they're going to be longer phrases. They're harder to crack. But the negative side is that they're still typed manually. And then last but not least, passkeys. This is a cryptographic login. It's fast, it's secure, and it's phishing proof. This is still rolling out. It's not available across all your favorite websites and streaming services. The goal is simple. Make security stronger and simpler, not harder. All right, that's it for this week's Tech Talk. And when you listen to this, we'll be coming out of the month of October, which is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, but that doesn't mean we stop practicing being safe. If you've found today's episode really helpful, I'd love for you to share with a friend, a parent, a grandparent, especially one that is still using password 123 as their password. All right, so I'll be providing some other features like screenshots, guides, and information in the show notes over at getmecoding.com. But until next time, keep tinkering, keep learning, and keep being curious. See you in the next episode.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.